I'm gonna talk about this why this is on my mind. Anytime you raise your kids left and you don't raise your kids according to the way the Bible teach them, then the bottom line is you can't go around here crying and hooping and hollering as a woman, and you done spoil your fucking kids. You done gave them everything, but you have to remember you got to be balanced in everything that you do. That's why in the Bible it says in Proverbs 11 and I think it's Proverbs 11 and 1. It says matter of fact, I don't like to just say stuff in my head, but it was just on me to just talk about it. Since it's in my mind, um, I'm gonna say it. Look, the Bible says, "A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is His delight." You got to be balanced in everything. You just can't be all fucking nice, or you can't be all damn nice to no child. If you trying to teach them the Most High ways and God's way, you got to stand up and you got to be a man. And I'm gonna take time and I'm gonna prove it. Then not the Bible. I don't need damn other book like people telling me you need to get you other books beside the Bible. Man, if you say some shit like that, you ought to be ashamed of your goddamn self. You need to be do a reevaluation because you are suffering from mental slave syndrome. Slave syndrome. That's what people say mental illness, but it's slave syndrome. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 6. Look what the Bible says. It says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." That's what the Bible says. It says train. That means teach them. You got to teach them. You just can't just sit up and just buy. You can be the richest person on the fucking planet. But what the fuck does that mean? Having a lot of money and you ain't got no peace, your family, you training your children and they whooping your ass. You got all this money, but like your money supposed to, like God gonna overlook that? No. God gonna punish your ass. And if you don't do your job and and punish that, and then instead of looking at the system, talking about the system, say child abuse and stuff like that, this and that, ain't nobody more fucking child abuse than the so-called white man, Esau. That's it. Now, look what the Bible says here. Uh, Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 23 and 6. "Eat thou not the bread of him that has an evil eye, neither desire that his deity meets. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he." And the heart means the mind. "Eat and drink, said he to thee, but his heart is not with thee." You see what I'm saying? Proverbs 23 and 14. Let's see what let's hear 13. It says, "Withhold not correction from the child." Don't withhold correction from him. Tell the ass. "For if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die. Thou shalt beat him with the rod, and shall deliver his soul from hell." The rod means the word of the Most High. You train them and you teach them. And then also it means, sometimes you have to be physical sometimes. Now look what it says in Proverbs 23 and verse 9. It says, "Speak not in the ears of a fool, for he will despise the wisdom of thy words." That's what's going on. So when you trying to show this truth to somebody, they going to refuse every bit of it. That's what that's going into. They're going to refuse it. Look what it says in verse 10. "Remove not the old landmark. Enter not into the fields of the fatherless." See, this is also going into, it said, "Remove not the old landmark." See, that's what the so-called white men done. They done went around the world and they done removed the true landmarks of the Native American people. And then they turn around and put their name up and gave you a fake name. And you'll find more of that in Psalms chapter Psalm 49:11, he said, their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generation. They call their lands after their own name. See, they renamed these lands and called them after their name and turned around and gave our people a fucked up name. You see what I'm saying? It says, withhold not correction from the child. Don't be withholding correction from your child. You see what I'm saying? Now let's go to Hebrews chapter 12, and I believe it's verses I came to 12. Let's go find it. Hebrews chapter 12 and verses 3. I'm going to start at verse 3. For consider him that endures such contradictions of sinners. For consider him that endures such contradictions of sinners against himself, lest ye be weary and fainted in your minds. Ye have not yet resisted unto blood strife against sinners. Against sin. Ye have not yet resisted unto blood striving against sin, and ye have forgotten the exaltation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise thou not the chastening of the Lord. That's Proverbs chapter 12 and verses 4 and 5. It says, despise thou not the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. Don't faint. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourges every son whom he receiveth. If ye endure chastening, that means being taught right or corrected, God dealeth with you as with son. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? But if ye be without chastening, whereof all are partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons. Furthermore, we had fathers of our flesh, which correct us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be subject unto the Father of spirits and live? Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which correct us, and we have given them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? It says, verse 10, for they verily for a few days chasteneth us after their own pleasure, but he for our profit, that we might be partakers of his holiness. Now, no chastening for the present seems to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. Wherefore lift the hands which hang down, and the feeble knees. The Bible says, no chastening for the present seems to be joyous. That means it don't feel good to hear the truth a lot of time. But grievous, nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. So it's telling you, it's saying, no chastening for the present seems to be joyous. Sometimes when you hear something that you know is wrong or whatever, it ain't gonna feel good to hear that hear it all the time. Sometimes you're gonna be saying in your mind, I don't want to hear that shit. You're gonna be talking all over the Bible. You're gonna be talking all over the word because you don't want to be corrected. And our nature, it is in our nature, is to rebel against anything that's right, because the majority of the world wants to do wrong. The majority of the world is catered that it's in our nature to do wrong. It's just part of nature to do wrong, to crave an appetite of something that's not good for you, such as unclean foods too. All right. See y'all later. I'm out.